Pleasant good morning, one and all. Pleasant good morning. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to today's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, the 20th day of August in the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome, one and all. Hope you had a restful night. Hope you are looking forward to a continuously prosperous week. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Share the live, share the live. You know the drill by now. When you get on, share the live. Schoolyard packed this morning again. Schoolyard is packed this morning again. And you know, today, Wednesday, the 20th day of August 2025, another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. So yeah, share the live, share the live. My colleague CC is in the studio. He's waiting for his turn to get some batin. And, you know, we tell you to when you come, just give it a little thumbs up. What we have about over 400 at this stage, well, 15 thumbs up. You are not doing well when it comes to the thumbs up, you know. And I told you too that you should ensure that you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow the page on Facebook. That's the name, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Follow on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, you subscribe. Hit the notification button, that little bell. You're going to get the notification. On Monday, while we were on, somehow, I don't know what happened, but Facebook knocked us off. I don't know. The people on Facebook, couple hundred people on Facebook, were denied access to the program. So that is why I've been saying to you, make sure that you all gravitate to YouTube. Make sure you view the program on YouTube, right? This is not the first time Facebook has done that. I don't know the reason why. I just got the notice pop up to say they are unable to stream on Facebook. But we also know that they have people in the government or people sponsored by the government who complain to Facebook when you have these programs, and Facebook sometimes without any doing any investigation, just stop the broadcast. So I'm saying to you, I see we get Facebookers. Let me see how many Facebookers we have on this stage. We have 76 persons watching on Facebook. Watch it. Watch it. Make sure you go onto YouTube, and that is where you are going to get the broadcast without any interruption. Right? So, as I've said, another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. We have a lot to tell you this morning. Lots. So many things have happened in the past few days. You know, you are in Monday. You finish what? Around 1 o'clock Monday afternoon. Between Monday afternoon and now. Right? The amount of things or the number of things that have happened, we're going to bring them to your attention. We're going to analyze. We're going to dissect. Again, I want to apologize for my voice. I still have a cold. You know, it took me great efforts to be here with you. But the fact that you can take the time to come and to watch, I believe I should soldier through whatever little inconvenience I may have from time to time and come and bring you the credible, valuable information, especially at this time. You know, elections are just around the corner. Just around 4th of September will be general and regional elections. We electing president and all of those persons, party to represent us. Giant services will go to vote on Friday. That's the day after tomorrow. So we have a lot to talk about. So what I'm going to do, because we have so many things to talk about, I'm going to truncate the roll call and move straight into it. So tell people we have almost 700 now. Let them know, because I know some people normally wait until the roll call is finished before they get in, so they're likely to miss out. Program was scheduled at 7 o'clock this morning, and as soon as we did so, the first person in was Selwyn. Well, as I've said before, that is how it is listed. Selwyn, then Kenneth from Maryland, Wayne from the UK, Ulrich Westdem, Jaco from Georgia, Aubrey, Peter, Winston from California, Carl, Ezzy, Keith from Barbados, Felicia, Sean, Claire, Pinky, Brian, Wayne, they all came at 7. Then shortly after, we had Joan, Brenda, Darlene, Clarence, Paul, John, Rawl, Clifton from Paris, Ricky Smith. Then we have the next Clifton, Pastor Smith, 9339. Then Orin from the UK, Tessa from Florida, Dexter, Earl, Sean from upstate New York, Barbara, Carol, Anthony Peters, all in the East Bank of Demerara, Vibert, Marcus, Gavin, Maryland, Esla, and they all came between 7 and 7:01. Right? So let me run. We're going to do the announcements, and then we're going to get into it. I wanted to tell you before I go to that when we went live, the first man on, as usual, on Facebook was Edward Charles. And then we have Abu, Joyce, Carlton Popo, Matthew, and the list goes on, Wills, and Lennox. They all came on Facebook. They're the Facebookers. So yes, let me move to the announcements, and then we're going to go into the program. Share the live. Some of them are going to get caught this morning. We told you about a few days ago, I think it was Friday's program, about the death of the daughter of retired Woman Assistant Commissioner Clay Jarvis, or the daughter's name was Stacey Olinda Jarvis Johnson. She died not so long ago, a few days ago, and the funeral arrangements, I got it this morning. She's going to be buried on Monday, the 25th of August. Says here the viewing will be at Merriman's Funeral Home between 11 and 12. Service at the South Ranville Church of the Nazarene. It goes there for further viewing and tributes. They said the service commences at 1:15 in the afternoon. And they're also advising us that the night of reflections will be on Saturday, the 23rd, at the Ex-Police Association building. That's in Georgetown there, Kingston, Cowan Street, by the Immigration Department, just around the corner there. That is where. So that is Saturday night for the night of reflections. And then the funeral is on Monday, the 25th. We told you too about the death of Woman Sergeant Aris, 20451. We haven't received from Immigration Department. I haven't seen any further information. This place is a sad place, this place called Guyana. We told you on Monday, they had, 7 fatal accidents, 7 deaths. I think there were 3 accidents resulting in 7 deaths over the weekend, right? And then you had the man at the horse racing who fell off years and died. A 19-year-old jockey fell off his horse and died. And you thought that was enough? Since Monday to now, we had 2 additional fatal accidents. Between Monday and now, we had 2 additional fatal accidents. They're reporting that some pedestrian died in a crash at Montrose on the east coast of Demerara. I saw some picture there. Apparently, up to now, that person has not been identified. And then a woman, 72-year-old woman, perished in an accident at Dutch Ford on the east coast of Demerara. I had that video to show you on Monday, but time ran out. Let me show you what took place then. Look.
Kill the fucking man now.
Oh my gosh! Why you can't get the fucking man where you do?
Yeah, that was, I think that was the accident which resulted in the death of that 72-year-old woman. I should have warned you about the expletives and so on in the program. And it's a lot of madness. We're going to come back to that accident story in a short while. We're going to come back to that because, 2 fatalities, right? 2 fatalities. Let me do the happier announcements, and then we're going to come back to the meat of the thing. Today, we understand that, but even before we go to those are further announcements. There's an accident. We're going to show you the picture, the video in a while. When we finish the announcement, we're going to come back to that. Our police inspector, I understand this morning, Chief Inspector Walcott, on duty on the road, a motorcycle lick him up, clean him up. Not so long ago, we told you about we showed you a video with a policewoman car running to she licked you down. Madness on the roads, and what are they doing? What are they doing? We're gonna deal with it in a short while. But before we do that, let me tell you, before I bring in Mr. Conway, birthday greetings today to they got drum roll for this one, birthday greetings today going out to retired woman superintendent Audrey Small. I think Luke now is our name. Audrey, well, happy birthday, Audrey. We understand too that today is the birth anniversary of Superintendent Elston Baird. He's the man in charge of Office of Professional Responsibility, OPR. And I told you on the last occasion that I know Baird to be a good policeman. But Baird has been sucked into this vortex of lies and deceit. And I told you all I'm disappointed in Baird because some of the things that are attributed to Baird. For example, Baird saying that he cautioned Boscom over the telephone. He knows better. You can't do that, right? Notwithstanding all of that, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. And then recent birthday, we had retired Superintendent Dempsey Jarvis. Dempsey used to be at the band room. I think he was the deputy band master there for some time. He celebrated his birth anniversary recently. So let me again say to those going back to the relatives and friends of those persons who passed, condolences, and to the persons who are celebrating birthday today, who celebrated recently, and who are celebrating in the near future. Hope you have a wonderful time. Hope you live to see many, many more prosperous birthdays. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, then we're going to come back for some other announcements. CC, welcome.
Morning. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. My sympathy to the relatives, friends, family of the bereaved. And birthday greetings, especially to Audrey. We spoke this morning, and I want to wish you happy birthday. And I know that you have many, many more candles to blow out. Enjoy it. And I end up in some little worries. Some people call me, and because I spoke about the DDOs that I work with. And I didn't mention a name. I didn't mention retired Assistant Commissioner Marlon Chapman. And a whole set of people call me. It's not that, I didn't remember Chapman, but whilst making the presentation, I tried to remember his name, and the name wasn't coming to me. And when you want to forget, trust your memory. I didn't write it down, so I miss out. So Chapman, I'm sorry that I didn't mention you, but you were the top of the line, and you used to solve things from scratch. I remember we had a overseas-based Guyanese came into Blackbush. I think it was Yakasari, a Saturday night, and Sunday morning they found his headless body. And Chapman said, "Skipper, don't worry, I'm gonna look after it." I was able to find the head, and also some jewelry that was stolen. Guy gets charged, and they went to court and get convicted. And then I remember once we found a body on the street at Rosal. No visible signs of injury seen. And when Chapman examined the body, he says, "Skipper, this man gets strangled." Because he pulled back the eyelid and he saw some blood shots. And he said that blood shots there is as a result of strangulation. And when Dr. Bridgman did the PM, the man was strangled. That was the cause of death. So Chapman, you were top of the line, eh? And you did excellent work all the time. And also you played a great part with me in terms of maintaining excellent relationship with the police or counterparts in Suriname. I remember we used to slip across there some weekend. I remember Commissioner Felix would say, "Hey, when you want to go across, you go across. Maintain the relationship. All you got to tell me that you're going and put proper systems in place to get it." So Chapman was able to assist me in maintaining excellent relationship with the police in Suriname, and also to put a dent to piracy, to put a dent in piracy. So, Marlon, once again, I wish to say that I slip up and I didn't mention your name. It wasn't a deliberate plan. It wasn't a deliberate effort. And I said before, if you want to forget, trust your memory. Write down things so that you can remember.
Right. You apologize to the show, Marlon, and accepting a dry apology like that. So you'll have to do the right thing. That is why I just put in the caveat. You call a couple names and talk about many others that you can't remember at this time because, yeah, you're going to always tend to forget. Because we had so many good men in those days, many, numerous good men. And I made the point, and I continue to say, as a young commander, I benefited so much from those detective officers, traffic officers, and the officers generally, even though they were older and many of them had more service than me, they had experience, and I recognized that. So I would sit down and I would listen to them. I was in charge, yes, but I never pull weight and throw your weight around to prove that you're in charge. I listened to wise counsel, and then you had to make the decision. Yeah, so I understand now that don't happen. You get rank, and because you get rank, you're in charge, and nobody must advise you. Nobody must tell you anything. You are the boss. Well, it can't work out. It's not gonna work. Especially now, with all the willingly promotions, I understand that is what is happening. Because people promoted left, right, and center, man who was constable now turned sergeant in front of corporals who are more experienced, and therefore they're gonna will in and say, all right, you're the sergeant, you do the work. You are the sergeant, you do the work. Don't come and ask me nothing. They promote you, so you must know how to do the job. Now let me move on quickly. And let me shout out to some people I met yesterday morning. The man tell me I don't shout you out, so I'll shout you out now. Keith and Maureen Hines, right? Met them yesterday. Also met Cecil Williams and Simone. Cecil was the old police, 8101 Williams. I met them yesterday. We had a long, nice conversation. So CC, just to tell you, it's not you alone meeting women, I met those two beautiful ladies too. We talked and so on. So shout out again to Keith and Maureen and to Cecile and Simone. Now let me move on. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Guyanese jurist, Mr. Harif Bulkan, on being selected to be on the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ. I remember Mr. Bulkan when he was at DPP's chambers, and I always wanted to know how he did not rise in the judicial arrangement in Guyana. But here it is. He is now on the CCJ. Justice Anderson has been elevated to I think they call it the president, the top post in that body. So the vacancy was created. And I want you to read, I get time here to read it now, but I had to read this thing yesterday to see Mr. Bulkan's career, right? To see all the things tableau yesterday, in case you want to read all the places he went. He was a lecturer, Margaret doctorate, highly qualified. And it says too that Mr. Bulkan is the third Guyanese to be on the Caribbean Court of Justice. The third Guyanese, right? And they also say, interestingly, they say that they have 26 applications from Australia, Barbados, Canada, the Cameroon, Fiji, Guyana, Jamaica, Kenya, Nigeria, Pakistan, St. Lucia, Sri Lanka, the United States of America, Trinidad and Tobago. All right? They say of the applicants received, 5 candidates, 3 male and 2 female, were shortlisted for further consideration. And then Justice Bulkan were one of. So again, congratulations. I was looking, they also said, as I said, there were 2 other Guyanese. I know one was Mr. Pollard, and then the late Bernard. Desiree Bernard, and Justice Pollard. They were the 2, Desiree Bernard and Duke Pollard. There were 2 Pollards, Brynmore and Duke. But Duke Pollard and Justice Desiree Bernard were the 2 Guyanese who are on the Caribbean Court of Justice at some time. So congratulations, Justice Wilkan. I want you all to read the article. Sabrok News yesterday wanted to read the article because they outlined the process of transparency and credibility in the process to identify this person. He's to be sworn in October of this year to the judge. So yeah. I also want to congratulate, somebody saying it here, the parents of Andrea Young, the little girl, 11-year-old who was killed. They got married recently. So Brian is the father, and Amika Simon, the mother name. I saw the thing on social media that they get married. They got married. I think it might have been yesterday. Congratulations to them. Congratulations. And to tell you too, that when it comes to voting at the election, we remember your daughter. Remember you and all the pain and all the suffering. We will remember that. And then congratulations, as I said. Right, so those are the congratulations. And let me say too, for those people in the east coast of the United States, watch out, the Hurricane Erin. I didn't get to track it this morning, but Hurricane Erin is somewhere out there. So winds and water are supposed to lash parts of the east coast of America. Let me bring in CC, and then we're gonna move on to other matters. CC, welcome. Well, I said welcome. I'm sure you'd want to extend congratulations to those persons too.
Sure. I remember the Justice Vulcan very well. I interacted with him a couple of times. Very decent guy, very friendly. And also congratulations to those recently married couple. And as you mentioned, when we go to vote, we'll remember Adriano. We will remember
And we will remember. Now, yesterday, yesterday I saw an article again, new source. I didn't know if to laugh or if to cry. It says that they had yesterday the police had what they call a muster, where the muster is really where you gather the ranks together. You're gonna do inspection, and you're gonna talk to them about topical issues and so on. They say it can urge at this muster that they had at the TSU Square, right? They say it can urges police ranks to be professional and neutral as they undertake election duties. Let me read it back in case you believe you hear me right. Again, the Commissioner of Police, the squatter. It has been reported that Akin urges police ranks to be professional and neutral as they undertake election duties. My God, Akin know about professionalism and neutrality. He knows about that. It is alleged that he at the place there campaigning, telling police he's the one progressive must vote for PPP. The Commissioner of Police is alleged to be doing so. And he talking about professionalism. Same man who took $8.5 million in the office from Amir Ahmad to finance the wedding of Calvin Brutus, former assistant commissioner. He not professionalism. And then he talking about being neutral. This man, he uses his words. I believe people must be prepared these things to eat. And you read them, you don't understand the meaning of those words. Neutral, we told them over and over that you have police who are wearing PPP campaign uniform. They are at political meetings, not on duty, dressed in PPP campaign uniform, shaking hand and posing with Jack Dio and posing with Irfan Ali and doing all that. Policemen, serving policemen. Where is the neutrality? You can wake up. Where is the neutrality? So I don't know, but when I read this thing, I said, I didn't know it was a cry or if it's to laugh. And then let me read the article. It's not a long article. It says, Commissioner of Police Clifton Akin has cautioned members of the Guyana Police Force that there will be consequences for any action taken outside of the established standard operational procedures, standard operating procedures, and force policies. He made the comments to the officers this morning at a muster at police headquarters in Ivleri. The Police Public Relations Office reported that the top cop emphasized the importance of professionalism, neutrality, and preparedness during the elections. On the recently promoted ranks, Mr. Ikin announced they will undergo training at the police academy. The commissioner charged those in attendance to ensure that they uphold integrity of the Guyana police force at all times, especially when dealing with members of the public. The muster was held at the police. The muster was held as the police will join members of the discipline services on Friday to cast their votes in the national elections ahead of the rest of the country. 2 weeks ago, President Irfan Ali, during a meeting with the police ranks, announced promotion of more than 2,000 ranks. A few days later, Vice President announced promotion of an additional 800. The government has been accused by the opposition of politicizing the police force. They're politicizing the police force. And then it can go tell people about professionalism, neutrality, and preparedness. You're the last person who should speak about that. You're the last person who should speak about professionalism because you are the most unprofessional person to sit in that office of Commissioner of Police. I say that, and I have evidence to support it. And not only the evidence where you admitted, you confessed basically to accepting $8.5 million from businessman from Amir Ahmad to finance an assistant commissioner wedding. And Jack Dio said that the act is reprehensible, and you are nothing, well, what they did then, they promoted you to commissioner. So don't come and lecture the ranks about professionalism and neutrality. Let somebody else talk to them. Because while they are obliged to stand there and to listen to you, I sure they tell yourself, what is so-and-so this man talking about? Let's go passing through the mind. What the MS this man talking about? And the MS is not medal of service. Not medal of service. And again, I say, these people go there and they talk things. You got to, as we say, skin them up. You should not be talking about professionalism. You got to lead by example. You have to be professional and let the people show that you're acting, let the ranks below you see that you're acting professionally and that they can emulate you. You can be acting as the most unprofessional man in that seat and then come in and tell the ranks to act professionally and with neutrality. Professionally, it must be professionalism, neutrality, and preparedness during election. So as them people would say, look all you. Let me bring in CC, man. CC, you can talk about professionalism and neutrality. What are your views, man?
Well, privately, he telling them that if they want a better life, they gotta vote for the present government. And urging them, even when the president is there, when they're making the announcement about the promotion, you go and praise the president. Is the president promote you all and you gotta know you're voting? Is the president gonna make you all sergeants and corporal and inspectors and you gotta know you are voting? And here you go publicly, and then he cannot know more no professionalism, man. He's a man who 8.5 million and he put it in writing. So he put it in writing. But that's what he draw for Brutus' wedding. What he draw personally. Or he didn't draw, he just look after Brutus and he now look after himself. Yeah? I wonder that he just look after Brutus and only Brutus alone because he got stakeholders, that he get a stakeholders approach towards getting contributions for people, weddings and birthdays and all sort of things, And he's a man pretend to be neutral and be professional. Man, let he can carry this. I can't use the word there, but he can. Most unprofessional police commissioner they ever had in the history of the Guyana police force.
Well, let me tell you when he said this thing about collecting money. Let me play for you all what Jack Dio said about that.
And let me also make it clear here today that this government never sanctioned a policy where private individuals and businessmen could pay for the birthdays and weddings of policemen or other public officials. In fact, we think it's reprehensible. It's reprehensible. So That's all I'm going to say for today.
It's reprehensible. It's reprehensible. What they do? They promote it to commission. At the time when this act was committed, he acting. He been in Hollywood, he acting. And as a reward for that reprehensible act, among others, he was promoted. Somebody come and tell me, Jack Dio come and talking a lot of crap, right? And well, Jack Dio said we stupid, you know. Jack Dio said, don't forget, Jack Dio said you get a lot of stupid people in Guyana, right? That is what Jack Dio think about people in Guyana, that we stupid. So when he come and don't forget, listen to you.
And this country got some really stupid people, really.
This country got some really stupid people, really. You got to really be stupid to believe the things what they're telling you. You got to be real stupid to believe what they're telling you. But coming back to the accidents that we talked about, I was about to tell you that I saw one yesterday there. Oh, my Lord. I can show you all the tape. And as I would say, viewers' discretion is advised. Police inspector on duty, I understand from my inquiries, he was on duty on the public road in Cove and John, right? Cove and John. Look what happened to him yesterday. A short clip. Look what happened to him. There's an extended version of that someplace. For those of you who did not see, let me play it back again. I understand he received serious injuries to his legs, look like his neck, serious injuries. Man on duty. And that is the lawlessness you have in the country, and especially when it relates to traffic. Lawlessness. Look at this one. Look at this other one.
What's going there, right?
Now, all these people drive, all these people get a license to be on the road to the driving. All these people get license to be on the road to drive. Well, we know, so there's a rhetorical question. They pay and they get the license. They pay and they get the license. But I hope that this inspector, I think his chief inspector to say, station at Cove and John, and he got into this accident. Well, I tried to get his name. They said that the Chief Inspector Walcott. They say Chief Inspector Walcott. I understand that Cove and John is stationed, and that is what happened to this man. Right? So that is the hold on, I see somebody asking something here. Right. So let me move on. Accidents weekly, daily, you're getting different types of accident. And there is no attempt to rein this thing in. And when they come and they say something, that make absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. Like when you can tell police they must line the streets, line the road and line the street to prevent speeding. That is what they were advised to do. I see some troll coming and so as I told you already, I was a little distracted there. But we are allowing them trolls to come in and use the platform that many of you contribute to keep upkeeping, making financial contribution to upkeep. They are coming here to spew the crap. They are not coming on this platform. No, sir. We're not allowing that. So whenever you see them, you just let me know. And I am going to deal with them, throw them out to the class. Out you go. Out you go. Now let me go to another issue. Guyana is, again, the most corrupt country in this part of the world. Without a doubt. So corrupt. Every day is some issue of corruption. Every day is an issue of corruption. Let me tell you this now. Let me read this. Police yesterday, they announced, see something, police acquired. Let me read that, man. Let me read it. Guyana Police Force received major boost in transportation fleet with acquisition of 21 new vehicles 20 new motorcycles. That is what I said, right? 21 new vehicles. Let me read it. Guyana Police Force today, Tuesday, August the 19th, 2025, held the handing over ceremony at the Tactical Services Jules Square, where the organization received a major boost to its mobility fleet. Did I want to say no? When I read these things, sometimes it's difficult. But reading what I said, they received a major boost to its mobility fleet with the acquisition of 21 brand new 2025 Toyota Hilux double cab pickup vehicles and 20 Honda XR 150 motorcycles. The vehicles were bought by the government of Guyana through the Ministry of Home Affairs from Queensway Security Service Inc. and Marix and Company Limited, respectively. So in other words, the 21 vehicles, the total Hilux double cab pickup, right, were bought from Queensway Security Incorporated. And the motorcycles, the 20 new motorcycles, were bought from Marix Limited. I'm going to analyze, we just analyze. The simple handing over ceremony was attended by Commissioner of Police Clifton Aiken, Deputy Commissioner Admin Budram, and Deputy Commissioner Operations Watts, alongside senior officers and ranks. The new vehicles and motorcycles will strengthen the force's ability to respond swiftly to crime, improve patrol coverage, and expand its overall fleet management capacity. Then they go on, let me read a little more. Delivering remarks, Deputy Commissioner Operations, Mr. Watts, welcomed the support and underscored the impact. Quote, I'm extremely happy as Deputy Commissioner of Operations to be receiving 21 brand new 2025 double cab Toyota Hilux and 20 XR 150 motorcycles, which will add to our fleet management capability, both on land in terms of our response time, in terms of crime, and most importantly, our preparation for general and regional elections, which is slated for September 1, end of quote. And he goes on. But let me come back to the earlier part, It says the vehicles were bought by the government of Guyana through the Ministry of Home Affairs from Queensway Security Services, Inc. and Marix. Now, if I remember correctly, the agents for Toyota in Guyana was supposed to be Biari, but they bought it from Queensway Security. They're selling vehicle on Queensway Security, whose principal is Arafat Kwalanda. I call him name because the receipts are there. I call him name. Kwalanda, Queensway Security, sorry. So they're saying in the release, the vehicles were bought by the government of Guyana through the Ministry of Home Affairs from Queensway Security Inc. and Marix. Now, let me take your mind back a little further. Hold on, bear with me. It was on May the 1st, 2024, that it was published that Guyana Police Force gets modern crime scene vehicle. Right? So with the recent acquisition of a cutting-edge crime scene vehicle, the Guyana Police Force has taken a monumental step towards fortifying its crime-solving prowess. The state-of-the-art addition to the arsenal not only symbolizes progress, but also underlines the force's unwavering commitment to enhancing public safety and ensuring swift, efficient investigations. The simple but significant handing over ceremony was held at the Tactical Service Unit Square, Ivlery, on April the 30th, 2024. It goes on to say, before acquiring this modern vehicle, the Guyana Police Force faced significant limitations in the crime-solving capabilities. One of the major setbacks was the inability to transport crucial equipment essential for forensic analysis, such as fragile samples like blood and DNA samples, along with a photographic studio for capturing critical evidence on site. This lack of mobility hindered their ability to conduct thorough investigation at crime scenes, often resulting in delays and incomplete data collection. Let me stick a pin there. let me stick a pin. Police had this modern vehicle when Adriana Young's body was discovered, you know. This modern vehicle, they say, before acquiring this vehicle, they claim that the Guyana Police Force faced significant limitations in its crime-solving capabilities. One of the major setbacks was the inability to transport crucial equipment essential for forensic analysis, such as fragile samples, blah, 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 blah. They had this vehicle they're talking about when Adriana Young, with the incident there. And what did they do? Did they utilize it? So getting these pieces of equipment and vehicle is just getting it. Let me ask them a question now. How far has this vehicle gone? How has it been used to assist in solving crimes and processing crime scenes? I recall when earlier this year, this young man was kidnapped or abducted in Main Street and suspected to be taken to the back of Buxton. The vehicle went up there, a crime scene vehicle. This modern vehicle went to this location. So it was clear from since then, they believed that this man would not have been recovered. He has not been found up to now. So apparently they were working then on the premise that the man may have been killed somewhere. They will carry up the fancy crime scene vehicle. Let me show you what the vehicle look like. I'm bringing CC just now, man. This is what the vehicle that they're talking about look like. This crime scene vehicle, modern crime scene vehicle. But look, let me show you all the next slide. You see, police acquires new crime scene vehicle. This was May 21st, 2024. Look, the handing over. Look. The handing over here. This man to the left is set to be the PS. I think it's Andrea Ali Neal, the new PS, the man who replaced the sanctioned permanent secretary, May Thomas. This is Ropes with Scooter Shoot Ben in the middle. And this here is the man from the company. What the company name? Yeah, student there. Queensway Security. This is Queensway Security man, Fat Kalanda. And over here, same ceremony. You have the PS, same Ben, and you have the squatter. Same, this vehicle, they're taking over this vehicle. So this man, Queensway Security, he seemed to have arrangement for vehicles, supplying police with vehicles. Wonder who else, which other organization he supplies with vehicles. And in case y'all don't know who this man is is by now you would have suspect, big PPP man. Let me show y'all one more piece of evidence, man. You know, I don't like talk. Evidence, look. As a former senior police officer, I like evidence. In case you don't know what a video was showing you there, that video is showing the same man from Queensway Security, Arafat Kwalanda. That was the nomination day a few months ago. He's there with Zulfikar Mustafa. They think he's something in the PPP. And they were going to the Yumana Yana, the Benab, or as the old policeman said, Yumama Mama. They were going to Yumama Mama, not Yumana Yana. They were going to Yumama Mama to take in the list for nomination day elections. Arafat Kwalanda from Queensway. Now, they're telling us that Arafat Kwalanda from Queensway is company supplying the police with 20 brand new Hilux double cab pickup. And I asked you the question before bringing CC. Was there a tender for this and the other vehicle that we mentioned? They had any tender? I don't know. I'm asking the PS and all them. You see, these are the things the politicians got to pick up on. I know politicians. As I said, police officer retired, happily retired. But I know Annette and other politicians, they must ask these questions. 21 vehicles. This man, brand new vehicles, mind you. They didn't see a cost. But But you can well imagine the amount of money that they have to pay to this company, a security company acquiring vehicles for the police and other stuff. I know, other items for the police. A man who is close to the PPP. And I know the individual. That is the same man that they sent for talk to me when he said, even though Nandalal denied it, he said that Nandalal is sending them for talk to me. And that was on the 17th of September 2020. 17th of September 2020 in Middle Street. We met there. And he said, well, Jack, they want to talk to me. I was at the time the chairman of the Police Service Commission. And even though he did not say what they wanted to talk to me about, I suspected, based on the conversation we had, that they wanted to talk about police promotion. I ain't forget. The evidence is there. So Arafat Kwalanda from Queensway Security, and you get another holy maze and all them everything. You say import cement, he is a firearm dealer and all them everything. Right? Now he imported vehicles to supply to the police. And let me tell you all too, in case you all know, the building that the CID occupies on Vicinian Road, it is alleged that that building is owned by the same Arafat Kwalanda. The same Arafat Kwalanda, who have been seen on numerous occasions in company with Jack Deo and all them. When they had the problem at the Election Commission's office in Field Street, their video showed that he was there with them. And he now supplying the police with vehicle. And are you telling me that conflict and corruption and all them everything involved there? I don't know. But I would think that those matters should be investigated. What was the process used to identify Queensway Security to supply 21 brand new ILOC Surf vehicles to the police? What was the process used? Explain to us. People like James Bond, people like Foguera, who was there at the Public Accounts Commission, who touted the PPP, they should explain to me. And before I forget, let me tell you all this. I see all them praising the PPP and they're doing all sort of things as well. I said this, given the PPP's record of corruption and incompetence, anyone who come out, whether openly or in private, and said they're supporting the PPP are just as corrupt as them. I can't understand how any right-thinking people, including people who say they are Christians and they are religious people, whatever religion, they're supporting this corrupt cabal. They're supporting, remember what GHK Lal said about them? Let me read it to you all. He said, what we have today is not a government, but a gang of gangsters. For the most part, what Guyanese have for leaders today are nothing but out-of-control lunatics, pathological liars, unreconstructed racists, and political sadists. That's what you have. And you have to tell me that the God that you serve will condone you supporting that type of behavior? Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Well, the God that I serve will not allow me to support that type of thing. I don't know, many people here are Christians and whatever faith. Y'all reflect. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. You see, police 21 new vehicles, man, from Queensway Security. Your take.
Like you, Paul, I want to know, was there public tender or was it single source? Was it public tender? And how many persons or business tender for these vehicles? Or just single source? And then those vehicles, I had a chance to look at them. Were they custom made? Because I remember they brought in vehicle before, and those vehicles I think will be used for patrol movement of police there. That people getting difficulty coming out those vehicles, those double cab, difficulty coming out. Are they those vehicles suitable for patrol duties? Are they suitable for rapid response? All the things you gotta check, And then you mentioned about cement. Who is the major supplier for cement from Turkey? Check and see. You see, they're building all these roads, concrete, cement. Majority coming from Turkey. Or Turkey is pronounced a different name, a different spelling, but who is the person bringing in the cement? And you got to look at transparency, you know. You're bringing in vehicles for police, and then you're a security company bringing in vehicle, a security company bringing vehicle. Something and something right, something and smelling good. And as you mentioned, Paul, who is the owner for the building that the CID using in Vicinity Road? Look out, quid pro quo, preferential treatment. I do certain things, I wash you on, and you wash me on. Boiling down to corruption. They're sliding down the slippery slope of corruption at all levels. Let me see one more will develop.
Well, you know, you said a slide in. I prefer to use. They have slid down. They're not. Look, it is difficult to imagine these people. The level of corruption. It is difficult to imagine, but it's getting worse, or it's getting worse, as the people would say, getting worse. Every day is corruption. And let me zero in now as we move on. As I indicated earlier, giant services men and women will vote on Friday. Our next program is scheduled for Friday afternoon. By the time we come out on Friday afternoon, God's Pay Life, a lot of people in the giant services would have voted already. GDF, police, and prison service. I understand those are the three organizations, not the fire service. That is my information. Police, GDF, and the prison service. GCOM recently gave out the numbers. I think police is in the vicinity of 9,000, right? And when we talk about 9,000, we talk about police and it includes the auxiliaries. It includes the auxiliaries, and those auxiliaries are the special constabulary, the different iterations of that body. Because you know, you get regular special, you get this kind of special, all type of special you get in the constabulary. A part of the constabulary working at places that have to pay for them. So everybody you see in the Broncos or special constabulary, all of them don't have the same arrangement, right? You have the regular special and special constables and people in the special constabulary. I don't believe I am against y'all. I was a member of the special constabulary. When I joined the police force in 1973, July, I joined as a special constable on the east coast of Demerara. I spent most of my time at Sparndam Police Station. I was given special number 2680 was my special. I am proud of that I was a special constable. We joined just before the elections in 1973, and at the end of the year, on the 31st of December, all of us who were taken on to perform duties then, we were stood down. None of us stood down because that was the arrangement with the special people in the special constabulary. You remember, they stand you up for duty when the duty, but not now. And there were some excellent special people in the special constabulary who used to run police stations. I remember Elaine Gordon on the East Coast. I remember this girl Tyndall on Contine when I was commander. She was there at one stage. She was in charge of Wim Police Station. Sagi on this live, if he's on here now, will tell you they were excellent police running stations, knew how to run police stations. Excellent. But then what happened? When Larry Lewis come over, you had three types of, well, let me tell you what happened. Little history lesson. You had the regular special, and then you had those who used to work with Geistack, if you remember. Well, the ones who used to work with Geistack, they used to be paid through the arrangement with Geistack, right? So they would pay the police and the police would pay them. They didn't come under the government payroll. Then you had the National Guard Service. You had the National Guard Service. And then when Larry Lewis became commissioner, sometime it was on the 1st of August, I can't remember the year, they merged the National Guard Service with the Geistack arm of the Special Constabulary. And I think it is going like that on today, like today, where there's a lot of confusion. Right? So I have nothing against the Special Constabulary. So we talk about members of the force is regular police, the special constabulary, you have the rural constable, neighborhood police, all of them they're bringing to form this, whether they said the 9,000 to vote on the advanced voting day. That is what it is. Somebody telling me couldn't be 1990. I don't think it was 1990 August. Could be, but Larry Lewis became commissioner around that time. And I think it took a little time, at least a year, before the merger was there. Larry Lewis became commissioner in 1990. I had just returned from duty with the United Nations in April, I think it was 1990. And Larry Lewis acted for a little while. Carl Balaam Ragabi was still the commissioner. And I think it was the following year that he, on the 1st of August, I remember that very well. They used to call it Emancipation Day. Can't remember the exact year, but I don't think it was 1990. Because 1990, 1st of August, I don't even think Larry Lewis had been formally made commissioner then. He might have been acting. I'm not sure. But I'm going to research it and let you all know. Right? I'm going to research it and let you know. So I have nothing against the special constabulary. But the point I'm making, they're going to vote on Friday. And I want you all to reflect on a lot of the things that I've been talking about. Right? A lot of the things that you're talking about. Somebody asked about the RCs. If the RCs are stood up to work, then they are considered members of the force. RCs meaning rural constables. If they are stood up to work, then they are members of the force. The big problem you have, and I don't know if these Green Horn commanders understand that, many of the RCs in particular are political activists. So you as a commander, you have them on your role as an RC, you got to make sure that you don't incorporate them into your strength to work on election day because they're out campaigning. And even though they might tell you no, when the time comes, they are turning up for work. So you have got to do all of that. And I believe now, I don't know, the time might be very, very short now for that. Right? Because RCs are traditionally known, especially places on the continuing work, West Demerara, right? They are members of political parties, primarily the PPP. And therefore, when you come around election time, you get problem with them. So the commanders are hereby warned. They are warned. I've been telling y'all, these people did so many things to the police over the years. So many things they did. And now they want you to vote for them. Reflect. And don't worry about this. Enough promotion that came and they gave. Even then now walking back some of the promotions. Either recalling some of the promotions. Recalling. And even in this arrangement, let me say, as I said, 9,000 members of the force supposed to vote. And let me say 2/3 of that, 6,000 are policemen. They come and they promote almost 50% of those persons. And again, I am saying this to you, ranks. Many of you deserve your promotion. Many of you deserve your promotion. But you know better than I do that many of them can deserve no promotion. Many of them. They promote people and they're silent about it. Look, one recently promoted, we understand, arrested in New Amsterdam for attempting to smuggle a gun into the New Amsterdam prison. They ain't said nothing about that yet. They are reporting too that a recently promoted inspector arrested over the weekend and others for robbing Chinese at $4 million. They robbed a Chinese man in Church Street. That is what is being alleged. So y'all know. So again, I say that to say a lot of people deserve the promotion. I know that. I know. But a lot of people who are deserving have been bypassed. People have complained to me 10 years, 12 years as constable, no charge sheet, no bad behavior, and then get promoted in the same thing. Then they promote a man who cuss up the sergeant, promote him on the 1st of August, dismiss him on the 8th of August, retroactive from the 1st of May. They say he didn't walk in since the 1st of May 2025, but he still gets dismissed. It's confusion. And I want you all to remember that. They get you working 24 hours, 26 hours. People at the TSU, you know what I'm talking about. When Gilbert was found by the advisor there, right? Sleeping with an AK-47, he had completed 18 hours when he was found. What did they do? No consideration. Take out the video, get the video all over social media for embarrassing. never considered the fact that this man had been working for all them long hours. When the regulation says that no one should be working with a firearm for more than 4 hours, the man was there for 18 when he was caught, and he wasn't relieved immediately. You always remember all them type of thing. They got a place where you always got to work in Kingston. Then they got no toilet facilities there. If they can short, it was in the night, man, got people on the road. Other than that, you got to catch bush. That is how they're treating you. That is how they are treating you. You must remember that. You must remember, even with the same thing, the very Jack Dio, let me tell you all recently what he said. Hold on, but I'll tell you how he said. Jack Dio abandons, what happened? He abandons incompetent police force ahead of elections after years of political capture. Georgetown, Guyana, Vice President Jack Dio was emphatically distanced the PPP-led government from the recent high-profile controversies involving the Ghana police force, such as Baby Skello, blasphemous libel prosecution, and the misapplied charges against activist Rickford Burke, and several other police scandals. Jagdo insisted that the government has no say in police decisions, citing the doctrine of separation of powers, effectively claiming no responsibility for serious missteps by the police force. They're giving you instructions, and then when things go right, they're left you upon your own. Like how the murder, the Orange Boston murder, policeman get 25 years. That they did not even assist him in finding representation. He was unrepresented at a manslaughter charge. Y'all think about these things. Y'all think about these things when you go to cast your vote. Cast your vote wisely. Cast your vote wisely. They can't abuse you all year round. For all them year, they're abusing you. And then on the 30th of June, or sometime the 29th of July, rather, President said, you get a vision, and he come to the police, we got to promote all of you. And you know that even that they did not honor. Because given the categories that they had announced and the criteria for those promotions, many of the posts have not been promoted. Many have not been promoted. And you all know that. You're there in it, you live in it. You know the conditions that you got to live and work in. You say something, a man shake, as in Mohammedan, transfer from Morocco all the way to Molson Creek, without consideration for his well-being, welfare, and his family welfare transfer. That is how they're treating you all, and you have a chance now to correct it. I love when people get promotion. And people who know, despite what the Jacobats are saying, Mr. Conway can tell you, right? Will tell you. They said Commissioner Larry Lewis became commissioner on the 4th of August. If he became commissioner on the 4th of August, it supports the point that I'm saying that the Guard Service, National Guard Service, could not have been incorporated on the 4th of August. Right? I remember, I get the dates, but I remember the whole sequence. There was a parade on the TSU Square at that time. Right? On the TSU Square. I was the second in command of TSU at the time. So it might have been the next year, 91, or something like that. Because even before he became commissioner in 1990, he acted. Baram Ragabi was still the commissioner, and he acted for a couple months before he was confirmed as commissioner from the 1st of August, 1990. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you for that. Right? So I said, we believe in promoting people. When we took over the Police Service Commission in 2018, allegations were there, and the yard police, people know it. You have to pay money to get promotion. I understand now, even now, with this announcement of all these enough promotion, money passing, people paying this body and paying this body to get promotion. That's what you want, you have to pay. You should be promoted based on your abilities, based on your knowledge of the job. Right? People get ability, they get knowledge, they get good conduct, and yet still they're demanding money. When we went there, we tried to straighten it out. Not an allegation could have been made against us about money. As a matter of fact, as I told you all, the secretary there, Jai Gobind Jai Singh, praised us because he had been there for many, many years, and he said he never saw such a fair process. And what happened? Because the process was so fair, and we were not giving in to political pressure, even from the president when he called me and told me about people, his people, and so on, we stood up, and what they did? They went this illegally, unlawfully, unconstitutionally suspended the Police Service Commission because they couldn't get their way. And we took them to court and we prevailed. And the judge said that the president acted unconstitutionally, ultra-virus the Constitution. So when they send the trolls, you just have to feed facts to them. So don't believe that I don't want people to be promoted. But I'm saying that if the organization is to be reformed, as they're saying, you can't just promote willy-nilly. All them thousands of people get promotion. Can't. That can't work. Right? Let me bring in Mr. Conway, then we're going to move on to another issue. Talk a lot about that. I don't want to dominate the debate. CC, this promotion thing. What word of advice you will give to these policemen who are going to the polls the day after tomorrow?
Let me say some other things. Let me take a little piece, pour the button before I get to that. Larry Lewis. I remember in 1990, I can't remember when he was confirmed as commissioner. But I remember in July 1990, I was on leave, and he sent for me. One of these good days, I'm going to talk how the interview went, very flowery language. And he sent for me, and then he ordered me to go to Adventure and set up the police college from scratch. That's in July. And then, I don't know if he get confirmed in August, but he was acting commissioner in July when he sent for me. But coming back to this guy sack story, you know, because I understand there's some corruption going on in this thing. We had the SCs, who we call Gaisak SCs, regular specials. We had the normal SCs, and then we had the persons who were working. And although Gaisak is no longer there, but it's still providing service for the corporation. And the corporation paying the police for the service. But what has happened is that those persons who they say were Gaisak people, they all been made regular members of the force. So the government, I understand, paying for them as regular members, the performance duties and the we call the Gaisak thing, and the corporation paying for them. But then they make them regular members of the force, and as a regular member of the force, the government paying for them also. So my understanding is that the government paying for them and Gaisak paying for them. I wonder what happened with that money. And let me tell you a little humorous story. You mentioned a woman who used to run a shift at Wim Police Station. And one afternoon, she took over 3 prisoners. 3 prisoners in their lockups, alive and well. And without checking, she signed the handover. And about 3 hours afterward, the guy's relatives brought food for them. She collected the food, and when she opened the lockups, there was a man skinning his teeth punching. The man hung himself in the lockups. She didn't check, so they get she a dead man. She ran out the station, run in the yard and roll up in the sand and all kind of thing there. And she fly back in the inquiry's office and scratch out your name in the handover, tear up the diary. His name there. The point I wish to make is that you need to ensure that you check. And there is no substitute for checking, none whatsoever, that you need to check. She didn't check, they get you a dead man. They get you a dead man. She signed and she go and scratch out your name and tear up the diary. Now those persons who are going to vote on Friday, my advice to them, Paul, is that when they go into that box to put the X, that they wouldn't see no red. Remember, they already get the green light. I'm saying they go in the booth, there will be no red. They wouldn't see no red because they already got the green light. So don't mind what he can say, for a better life, you got to vote for the PPP. No. They're too corrupt. They're not doing anything really for the police force, and you already gotten the green light. So don't see no red. That's how I'm going to put it.
Right, good advice, good advice. What I'm talking about the voting too, yesterday, last evening, I read where GCOM now belatedly has decided that no cell phone in the polling booth. Now GCOM is only showing their incompetence. Let me say it. GCOM, I said for the longest while, I don't believe that they are prepared for this election. And that statement by them last night is more evidence to me that they're not prepared. It was only 2 weeks ago, I understand, when this matter was debated. The same people, the opposition members, claimed that they said no cell phone. They were outvoted. The PPP members and the chairman outvoted them. So they said people can carry their cell phone. And the reason why that was being said, people should not take their cell phone, because there's evidence that it is used to buy votes. Because what happened? People are promised a sum of money. They tell you, well, look, let me say they tell you, you'll get $10,000 for your vote. We give 5 up front. Now, when you go into the polling booth, when you mark your X, I want you to take out a picture. Let me see that you voted for me. And then when you come out and you show me the picture, then we can give you the next 5,000. That, look, and again, I can call name because it's there. If you research, you can find it. I think it was 2011 elections. That man, Charles, from Linden, he goes now as Kashif Muhammad, right? He did that. He published on social media the ballot with his ex, again, show that he supported PPP. He now gets some position with them, youth and sports somewhere there. He did that. So we know that it happened in the past and you should have guarded against that. GCOM said no. GCOM said no. That was always a concern. We talked about it on this program, because if the ballots are supposed to be secret, then you should make sure that all measures are in place to ensure that those ballots remain secret. And if people were allowed to go into the booths with cell phone, then the possibility there that it would not have been secret. Right? So they vote against us. So last night, now 2 weeks, what caused them to change their mind? What caused them? I read something this morning on social media, which was an eye-opener to me. Because people said that back then when they buying vote, is only one party used to be accused of buying vote. That was the PPP. One party used to be accused of buying vote. And with the evidence from Greg Charles, a.k.a. Kashif Mohammed, that he showed where he voted for. That was evidence that of the vote buying. Now, what they're saying, that the PPP and perhaps GCOM, the PPP commissioners and GCOM, now recognize that PPP is not the only party with the capability to buy votes. They get competition. They get competition. So they decided at this last moment to ban cell phones into polling booths. Now, as an old police, a man in charge of operations for years, a man in charge of election preparedness analysis in several divisions, D division, B division, A division, years. The thing that jumped at me right away, how are you going to ensure that that is confirmed with? See, they say a lot of things. They're talking about cell phones, no cell phone use. I want to know if GCOM has a legal officer. Is there a legal officer? I know the man they had there who had some problem with them. His contract wasn't renewed and so on. And I saw on social media and the media, regular media, they were saying that the Attorney General was the man who advised him. How can the Attorney General advise GCOM on legal issues? That was the allegation, that ES7 can't be. He get a horse in the race. How come he could be advising? So I don't know who advised them. But when I look at what they wrote there, what has been, and this is last night, then Dennis Shribal wrote this article. I said, these people got to be crazy. You're banning cell phones from the polling booth. Cell phones? I thought anybody with any legal sense would not only restrict it to cell phones, but you're going to ban any device capable of taking a picture. So you're telling me the man can't go in cell phone, but you go with an iPad? Or you could go with some fancy little camera? This is a ballad, I'm going to use the word again. This is jackassery. You're telling me you're banning cell phone, but cell phones are not the only devices that can take pictures. You're trying to cure an ill. Me no liar. I've been to school. I've been to some good policing school. So the ill that you're trying to cure is people taking out the ballot to show how they vote. That's what you're trying to cure. And if you're trying to cure that ill, then the medicine can't be just banning cell phone. You have to be broader than that. You have to place a restriction on any device that is capable of taking out a picture, i.e. cell phone, iPad, miniature cameras, all of that should have been there in this thing, right? That is what ought to be done. And then having done that, smartwatches, yes, even smartwatches, but they tell you, oh, cell phone. They tell you cell phone, this last minute thing. And then, as I said, what has caused the change? Other people, they get rivals who can pay, or who may be paying people to vote. So they're trying to stop that, right? And then, I made some notes and glanced into it. How will that be enforced? How are you going to enforce that? You say you mustn't carry cell phone. What is the standard operating procedure? Commissioner, what's at operations? You have got to put out some SOP clearly telling the police, because the police is required, or not police, a member of the force is required to be at every single ballot box. You have got to put out the SOP, and this time I believe it's too short. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks election, come up no cell phone. How is that going to be enforced? At what stage? I see you try to explain, you leave it outside. It requires sort of that clear thinking and instructions long. So the poor police now, who can do duty now, will face with a dilemma where someone will come up, because it's going to happen. People are going to come and they're going to refuse to turn off the phone. Because if you tell them to turn off the phone, how do you ensure that the phone has been turned off? God says it's supposed to turn off. How are you going to ensure that? How are you going to ensure that? These people are clueless. They are clueless. What happens if a man or a woman refuses to turn off the phone? I see the talks about leaving it outside. What happens if they refuse to leave it outside? Poor police in trouble, They're going to call the police. Police don't know what to do. But I'm saying, because they talk at some stage here in this thing about it's been an offense, they say it is imperative to understand that the selling of a vote constitutes a serious electoral offense, which carries significant penalties. Offenders found guilty of selling their vote are liable to be fined $60,000, $65,000, and imprisonment for a term of 6 months. So if they break the law, police expected to take action. The administration of the force, Akin, Watts as the operations man, walk around big, operations man, the tribal union man, right? You are required to come together and to put out a proper SOP in relation to cell phone at polling places, so that the ranks are properly instructed and guided as to what they should do. Well, I guess now that the talk may be ropes and beyond, because they just listen. And when they listen to you, just tell them slow, say, Conway say. But you're showing the policemen at the polling place when they come now with less than 2 weeks that you can't carry cell phone. And that is going to throw right back at the lap of the police. And they know what to do. They weren't instructed. They don't know what the policy is, what the policy of the force is in respect to the use of cell phone. So you tell them, what, should they arrest the person? Should they prevent the person from going in to the polling place? These things are things that should have been done a long time now. But as I said, because GCOM is not prepared up to this stage to conduct a proper election, you get all of these last minute things. And unfortunately, always the police are left holding the shitty end of the stick. Because they're going to blame police. If people refuse to give the phone, they're going to blame police. If people are allowed to carry the phone, they're going to blame the police. It's police can get blamed. Again, because of poor leadership. You get ikin there, you know your ace from your ass. Right? All them type of thing. You have got to sit, and this thing should have been done long ago with GCOM. Because police don't want to be encroaching into the responsibility of GCOM, tell you the policy, and you got to work this thing out. Somebody asking, you tell them, well, you got 1 year before you go in the metal detector, before you go into the polling place. All these are things that should have been thought out some time ago. All of these. And remember, once you come up with this policy, whatever it is, the ranks on the ground have to be trained, have to be briefed. They got to know every single person has to be told what the policy is, what the SOP is, what your action should be. If this scenario role play, you have to have all of those things. Tabletop exercises and all of that should have already taken place. But last minute, the night the day on the 19th, they decide cell phone now, it will not be allowed. And no clear indication as to how that will be operationalized. No clear indication, because if they came up with that yesterday, even the polling agents and the officers in charge of the process of the polling place, you want to wait between now and then to tell them. So they're going to, for example, early voting Friday, you also train them between today and tomorrow and this thing. It is madness. It is madness. More indication, more evidence that GCOM is not ready to conduct a free and fair election. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and we're going to, after Mr. Conway, we're going to talk something more about free and fair elections. We're going to talk about what the Carter Center said yesterday in a preliminary report. Yes, CC, let me hear you.
You know, it's amazing that you went yesterday and you're making decisions for Friday, because Friday is when it starts. Friday is when it starts, and it's about vote buying, and it's also tying to promotion, because some ranks complain that they're telling they would get, if you vote for PPP, you will get an extra promotion, another promotion, more promotion coming up. But you got to come and give me evidence. When you come back from voting, come and give me the evidence. Let me see how you voted. And if you're going to bring it on the 19th and the 22nd is the voting, how is it going to work? You got to get proper SOP. And SOP got to go down to the most junior rank. And not only police, the elections officials has got to be fair. It's got to be clear. It got to be pellucid. And I know once I pellucidly clear, it got to be pellucid that everybody there who's involved in this election process got to understand clearly. This quarter, I was talking about SOPs. You are talking about SOPs and understanding how and something that SOPs we talking about and exists. It's fragment of his imagination, just like how the ballistic expert, they find it's a fragment of a bullet and then trace it to a weapon that the security allegedly used. That is more confusion. How are you going to enforce it? They got to go to training. They got to go to practical exercises and all these things to thing there. And it's not voting in Georgetown. They get voting in far-flung areas in the interior. You know, and as you mentioned already, Paul, it's not only about cell phone, it's about other electronic devices that are capable of taking out photographs and storing it, and later on you produce it. Real incompetence, and it boils down to buying votes. So a lot of them will be disappointed. But then how are you going to enforce? What would be SOP be? And then you got to look at who you put at the polling place to, because some of them police will be hot tempered too. The behavior at the polling place. A whole lot of issues going to come into play. A whole lot of issues going to come into play. But we hope that things will work out. All we could do is hope. But I see a lot of confusion, a lot of issues, a lot of concerns taking place on polling day.
I see the same thing because, again, I say the evidence is there. If GCOM is going to wait on the 19th to then say cell phones cannot be taken to the polling place, always going to be operationalized. That would not have been a part of the training for the election officers. So they're going to do something, hurry up now. As we say, it's less than 48 hours away for this thing to start. Because when you talk about the devices, talking about the voting of the joint services to discipline services, because one would expect it is implemented there as well. But according to this last minute thing, GCOM is not ready to conduct a free and fair election, which is a good time for me to segue into this Carter report. I don't have it in detail here now, but I have snippets. You know, they came out yesterday, Carter Center. There's a center who's there to monitor elections. If you recall, back in the early 90s, it was a Carter Center formula that came up with this current construct of the Guyana Election Commission, 3 opposition commissioners, 3 government commissioners, and the chairperson, who is supposed to be, I can't tell what you can say, supposed to be neutral, But we have seen evidence that it is not working. They came up to a lot of stuff, come to the place of poll. So they have been involved in Guyana election for the longest while. PPP praised them because PPP felt because of some of the policies that they implemented back in 1992, that is how they got into office. Jagan got into office on October the 5th, 1992. But times have moved on, and they got a lot of problem now. And I know we have been saying that observers are here, and we were disappointed to note that they're not saying anything. And the trend had been that they wait until the elections are over, then they put up some reports that this went wrong, and that went wrong, and that went wrong. But be saying that if you're here to observe, and you noted things that are occurring that can impact negatively on the election, whether it's freeness or the fairness, you should speak out. Well, Carter spoke out yesterday. And in part, because some of the things that they say, I agree with. First of all, we need to understand, if you look at the voters list, I think it's 700 and something thousand people. A population of just over 800, 700 and something thousand people there on it. There are people who migrated long ago, all of them there on the list. And we know that the dead people are not only there for stats. We know let us rise up and let us vote. We know that. We know that the dead people just come out and the dead people does vote. In case you know, let me remind you what happens on election day with these dead the dead people. One moment. Dead people just vote.
Every 5 years, when the breeze gets strange and the moon high behind cloud, let us rise again, not to haunt your house, but to haunt the ballot box. Every 5 years, them awake from the tomb, sleeping through the night on election moon. Used to wear white, now it's blood red shirt. PPP colors and a smile that hurt. From Le Repentier straight to Brickdam Road. Name on the list like he's still in the code. Multiple IDs tucked in the hand. Voter guys voting all across the land. Voter guys voting Jumbe. PPP for life from the afterlife. You see, voter guys voting Jumbe. Marking X from the grave so mysteriously. Life we deal in big contract. Road and bridge with a ghostly kickback. If you talk too loud, he drift through your walls. Say shish my child. The PPP call from Bartica Shore to Burbis Bridge. He floating cross like a phantom fridge. Nobody know how we pass the gate, but he first in line when it's voting date. Voter guys voting Jumbe. PPP for life from the afterlife. You see, voter guys voting Jumbe. Marking X from the grave so mysteriously. Red shirt, change the sheet. Walk from the grave to the polling street. Dead today, alive on the roll. Election rigging is the only goal. When he done, he fade in the night. Whispering low, PPP win the fight. Back in the coffin, back on the ground. Till the next 5 years come around. So if you see a shadow in the polling line, and the man behind you cold as ice, don't turn round, don't make eye contact. It's just the voter guys, the voting Jumbe.
Voting Jumbe. I love the tune. All who like the tune, give me a thumbs up, man. I love the tune. Rhythm Pusto. I love the tune. Vote, wheel and come again. We ain't got time, Bantu. Bantu, they got time. Wheel and come again. Voting Jumbe. That's what happening. That is what is going to happen with that bloated list, right? You can't buy somebody asks you, nice song, where you can't buy this song. You can't buy the song, man. If you were in class before, many people have, once I get you on WhatsApp, I can send it to you. I know no other way to send it. But if I have you on WhatsApp, I can WhatsApp the tune to you. And other people in this class, they get it because I sent it to them and they can also send it to you. Vote in Jumbe. For Portuguese, vote in Jumbe. That is what you have in the place. But Carter Center made some observations yesterday. They talk about the PPP using state resources to campaign. We told you before, when you had to get this $100,000 cash grant, there was a process that required you to register. During the course of the registration, they took your phone number. They took, and this is the government, the government of Guyana. Don't get mixed up with the government of Guyana and the PPP. They are supposed to be separate, even though we know that they separate, the lines are blurred. So the government decided they're going to give a cash grant, reluctantly, of course, because of course it couldn't happen. And then suddenly they want to buy vote, so it happened. Took your telephone number, they took your email address, and I think they also took a picture of you. Money share. We money, you know, not them money, we money. Given back to us. Now, somehow, the PPP has acquired that database. And I'm saying that must be illegal. for the government database to be in the hands of a political party named the PPP, right? And they're using that now to call people. People complain to me almost every day. They call you, did you receive the cash grant? Yes. Who you voting? We gave you $100,000 and we expect you to support us in the coming elections and all that. That is what they're doing. That must be illegal. Or they might say you ain't get laws in Guyana. If it's not illegal, it is only unethical. The PPP get the list or the database of people who are registered to collect the cash grant, and they're using that to call and harass people. The evidence, we see videos floating around the place. People have called me, several persons have called me to confirm that they have called them. Then they're using that information now to call them and offer them little ration and so on. You want little ration, you want flour, you want little sugar, little oil, go to a particular place, you're going to get it. And of course, the particular place is one of the supporters. So they are, under the pretext of giving people a little something, little food items, they are putting money in the supporters' pocket again, and the money going back to them. It is a vicious cycle. They are using state resources to campaign. Carter Center pointed it out. Carter Center even pointed out the fact that all of a sudden, they're opening all sorts of schools, they're opening police stations, and what is even worse is that many of them are dressed in the campaign outfit. You're opening a government building, they're dressed in a campaign outfit. That is what they have going on in the place. The people commented on all of a sudden, no tolls to the bridges and so on. They go so far to say the president on the 30th of July decided to promote thousands and thousands of police. All of those things I'm saying make this whole process of election unfair. It makes it unfair. The people even commented on the fact that these banks that you have, remember the banks closed the accounts of, I think, 40 persons who were candidates for the Win Party, Asudin Party. They even went so far as to knock off one man who they working at the Demerara Bank. Well, Carter Center commented on that and said that the banks were basically overreaching because nothing in the sanction says that those people can't continue to have account. That is what you have happening, Carter Center. So what I see is a recipe for disaster because GCOM is incapable of conducting a free and fair election. FAIR might be FEAR because a lot of fear going on around the place. I am warning them, I'm warning them. And when talk about sanctions, I need somebody to explain to me this whole sanction thing. A little confused now. I mean, I'm looking for something a little confused because they told us that Asudin Mohammed, his father, Nazar Shel Mohammed, are sanctioned by OFAC. They conveniently leaves out May Thomas, who was then the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs. He gets sanctioned too. And the people says that sanctions for corruption and involved in gun license business, involved in contract. That is what they say the sanction chief for. But they don't tell us about that. So if you associate in any way with Asudin Mohammed, they want you to believe that you too can be sanctioned, whether as an individual or an institution. That is what they are leading us to believe. But I discovered only recently, because I was doing research to tell you that the Chinese company that is building the new Demerara Harbor Bridge, they're sanctioned by the United States government too. But Guyana government doing business with them. Are we not therefore to understand that the Guyana government should get sanctioned too if you're using their logic and their argument as it relates to people who are associated with Asudin Mohammed? The company that is building the Harbor Bridge is sanctioned by the United States of America. The company that is building are working at the Timeri Cherijagan International Airport, the Chinese company. They too are sanctioned by the United States of America. So what happened? How come the government of Guyana can be doing business with these sanctioned companies and nothing happening with them? And yes, the liked one, this company that building the Bucket Airport, they sanctioned since 2019. Since 2019, they sanctioned, and the government entered into contract and government dealing with them. So I want to know, I want somebody to explain to me, how is it that the government of Guyana can be, one of the contracts I understand is 138 million US dollars, and one is some other fantastic amount for build bridge and for build expansion airport. So how come that the government can do business with sanctioned people, and the fact that Asudin Mohammed and his father sanctioned, you can't even associate, your name can't even associate with them, and the bank closing your account. And I want them to explain that to me and to us students, because it puzzles me. It puzzles me tremendously, and I don't like to be puzzled. So let her come and let them explain that. Let me bring Mr. Conway. Maybe Mr. Conway, with more experience than I have, might be able to explain that too. Maybe the girls told him how that works. See?
No, I'm happy that in a little way, Charter Center came out and raised some issues. Because you can't get this big bloated voters list. And let me tell you something. I checked the voters list and I see a dead man there on it. And I'm going to call his name. Because when I got promoted for the first time, he was my commander. A man named Cecil Grizandi. I think he retired as an assistant commissioner. He is on the voters list. He died years and years ago. Tessa might be smiling. And many other persons, but they're using the state resources. They're using vehicles. They're using personnel. Them 10 days workers. And all of them, they're using in the electioneering processing. And some of the tactics they're using, I think they try to be a bit smart, you know. They do a whole set of nonsense over the past 4 years. A whole set of corruption. And now, in the 5th year, coming in to election, then is when they're opening schools. They're opening hospitals. They're opening health centers. What they didn't do years ago, what they should have done years ago, they're now trying. And they're pushing it that they get a lot of substandard work. They're trying with the Demar Harbor Bridge, for sure that they're doing good. Road projects. And all sort of things that they're doing now to gain votes. Very much unfair, unprofessional, and they're using the people, and not only using them, they're putting them all in the party colors, buying votes, paying them money, and then the banks gone overreach. I don't know if the banks had legal advisors or legal counsel, but they rush and they suspended people, not suspended, closed people accounts just because they got the impression or the perception is that these persons were involved in political parties. A whole set of things getting wrong. But the Carter Center surprisingly jump out, because normally they just wait till after the election and then they come, they see things happening I know that was a mandate, and they ain't saying nothing till after election. But there's a lot of confusion. I don't know how they're gonna deal with these dead people that they got. Dead people who blow up this, let's say, they can't clear up. They can't go to parliament and amend the law or something, but they get it there. And believe it or not, dead people are gonna vote. If the scrutineers don't do the work, if the scrutineers allow people to stuff the boxes like what happened on the East Coast, I hope that the scrutineers get integrity and they make sure they stay there to ensure that things go as it ought to go. There are too many issues, there are too many concerns, and we only get up to Friday. We only get up to the 22nd. And it entail a whole lot of training, a whole lot of understanding. I see they're bringing some people to do some training, but maybe there's another time we can talk about that. But it doesn't look right. GCOM in good standing. GCOM is incompetent. And it's all because of the chairman. All because of the chairman voting for the government commissioners. Voting for the government commissioners. Anytime they get a deadlock or good luck 3-3, you can bet you sure that the chairman is going to vote for the government. A lot of things going to go wrong. And I'm not a pessimist, but I reading things is going to go wrong because of the incompetence of the GCOM. And because of the present government, they mean to get back in government at all costs. If they got to rig, if they got to corrupt people, they're going to do it all in an effort to get back in power. I hope that others will take action to ensure that this corruption, that is incompetence, that this kind of behavior that is likely to play out is nipped in the bud. Let's hope that things will go well, starting Friday.
Yeah, and let me say this, because some of the things too that Carter Center said, that I didn't name the name, but the Wind Party people in there are denied access to private aircraft to go into the remote areas. Public places, some NDCs or city, they're banning, they're tapping them from setting up. We saw over the last weekend the APNU setting up at Breedenoop for election, and the police tell them they have to go in some corner and set up. That's the type of thing. So how can it be fair? How can, remember, elections are supposed to be free and fair. They commented on the fact that the government dominating the government broadcast, the Department of Public Information and the radio station and the TV is all about the government. They're pushing about the government. Oppositions don't get no opportunity to make any point. And I remember long ago, we had an arrangement with them public entities like that both sides or all the parties, they had a formula that were used to make sure that the parties get airtime. But now you don't have that. And they tell you, how can it be fair? How can it be fair when the government can use the government vehicles, bring the 10-day workers and all them type of thing to do PPP campaign work? They are looking for trouble. And let me say this too, because again, you got to be practical. The voters registration, what they call it, official list of electors, I think that is what the correct name is, must have people who die. Because people are dying every day. Let me understand this. So when we talk about dead people, we're not talking that the list as the people who may have recently died, right? Because between now and election, the life being what it is, people are going to pass on. None of us know what tomorrow holds. Some people are going to pass on, right? But we're talking about people who died over a decade ago, long, that they're on the list. That is what we're talking about. And not only being on the list, but people voting for them. We're talking about people who reside abroad, sending their identification card into the country, and then people go in and impersonate them and vote for them. Because let me tell you all this. You go into the voting state, you go into the voting place, you have the scrutineers, you have the party representatives there and so on. They have the list of all the people who are supposed to vote at a particular place. And what happens? You go in and they call out John Jones. They look on the list. The list is supposed to get your name and a photograph. Many times, my experience has been that the photograph is so blurred that you can't recognize. You can't look at the photograph and look at the person who is before you and determine whether that is the same person. But they call a name, John Jones, and then they look and they see John Jones has not voted as yet. So John Jones is okay to vote, and then they cross out John Jones' name, right? No, and that is why we say that the way to avoid that would have been biometric, right? Biometric would have been the way to avoid that, because the scrutineers who are there, they look up and they see John Jones. They are not in no position to make any clear determination if the person who presents himself as John Jones is indeed John Jones. They get the ID card, they call the number. Yes, that is the right number on the list. And yes, that is what's going on. That is what it is. And therefore, I'm saying this thing is fraught with dangers. And again, Carter Center call out some of these things. Government vehicles, stopping you from going in the interior, stopping you from campaigning in certain areas, promoting a whole set of police, all sort of thing during the election, open this and open that. And the people have remarked that those things should not be. And you're not gonna go to no university to know that. Even if you went to University of IFLOC, you have to know that that is not fair. How can that be fair? You tell me, how can that be fair? So let me see what is going to happen. Mr. Conway talk about the training that they're doing, and then I have some slides to talk about it, but we didn't get enough time today. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Cadogan. There's arrangement for blind people to vote, because you got to go in, I think, and again, the fact that this question is asked on this program tells me that enough education was not done. Because they go in, I think somebody will carry them, the person got to swear to something. I'm not sure what the process is, but I know there's a process which allows for a blind person who are visually impaired to vote, right? And all this should have been part of the voters' education. All this, but they haven't done that. Or I don't know if they did, and maybe the person who's asking the question did not know, but that is the whole thing. That is the whole thing. When they talk about proxy voting, people who are bedridden, all of those things should have been dealt with, explained in detail. Because I saw them saying, the man who was sued because he was called a trench crapo, you know, man, he come there sometime last year, sometime, Sherrod called a trench crapo, and he sued for being called a trench crapo. Well, the same person, I saw thing that said overseas at the consulate and the thing, and people jump up because people didn't understand. These things are not being explained. These are 90-something people, and how the boxes are going to go there. And comrade, lack of education will cause people to believe. Because people don't trust y'all. That's the bottom line. People don't trust y'all. So therefore, any little thing they're going to pick on. And therefore, it was incumbent upon you to make sure that this process is explained in great detail, which you have not done. which you have not done. Let me bring him Mr. Conley for his closing. CC, your closing, my brother.
Back to the police and the police promotion. The taking back stripes. Recently, I think from Region 5 and Region 6, Region 6 where they said they get a certain senior man there, get a degree from the University of Palmyra. That over 25 persons, they call to headquarters and take back the stripe. They say that they didn't reach the years of service. Because what happened, some of them were neighborhood police. They swear them as SCs, and then they make them as regular members of the force. And they promoted them. They call them and they take back the stripes. I'm talking about stripes, they call them Master stripes. And then another fraud story, another dishonest thing happening where they call them stores. You get the pins that you pin on the stripe. They're selling the pins there for $100, which telling me to go back and check the quartermaster store. Big corruption took place that then deal with and taking place. Massive corruption at the police finance office. Don't talk about Region 1. Region 8 also. Region 8 also. They need to check what's happening in the financial department of the Guyana Police Force. Tremendous fraud taking place. But then they say, if the government, the people are in the fraud, why the police can't think it? Monkey see, monkey do. And my call to those persons, those policemen who's going to go and vote on Friday. Remember, when you go in there, you're not going to see red because you already had the green light.
Yes, well done, Fred. Now, folks, I got 1, 2 tape. Let me play y'all this thing, man. Let me play y'all this one. Hold on, let me make sure I get it right.
A contract, right? And I'm more the talking away. She says, who you talking to? I said, no, it's my wife I'm talking to because the call switch.
As I see the call just switch. Yeah, I want as well. I just get cut off.
Is this cyber trucker in? So and now I learn if I use it, right?
Oh.
I'm not gonna get catch. Look, I sent you this video, right? Let me tell you, the moment you put up this video is the moment they know that everything's solidified, right?
Yeah, you tell me about but Akins, how you get it cut. You know.
Hold on. So here we are, right? Hickins and we were friends since he was commander in Brigdam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when APNU was in power, right? Mm-hmm. When APNU was in power, they tried to poison Jagdeo, right? And yes, he owned what you call it, bodyguard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Hickins get it tip off. Was who and what time they was gonna do it, right? And Hickins now call Barrett and tell Barrett, do not drink from the cup. And Barrett played, well, he's smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Barrett now go and test things the next day and find out. Me know what happened to the man, to tell you the truth. I never see back the officer ever again. I don't know what happened, to tell you the truth, right?
Well, Barrett, he dead.
No, I just tell you, I swear to on my children's life, I don't know. So I can't lie to this. It's Ramadan month line, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I had to remind Irfan of that story. And the next day, the chief get confirmed. Because I said, let me tell you something. Hickins might be ignorant, might be a lot of things, right? But when he got your back, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got your back. And you remember when he saved the chief, and then he calmed himself down, right? Because they didn't want to make Budram. And I told him, I said, let me tell you all something, right? I went in State House the same day. And I said, let me tell you all something. If I put a Kuliman there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Consider the election lost. But I tell them straightforward, I said, black people can feel that they have no rights anymore. And guess what? It's a 49-51 split,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting
I'll play the rest later, man. I'll play the rest later. But by popular demand, backed by popular demand.
Every 5 years, when the breeze gets strange and the moon high behind cloud, let us rise again, not to haunt your house, but to haunt the ballot box. Every 5 years, them awake from the tomb, creeping through the night on election moon. Used to wear white, now it's blood red shirt. PPP colors and a smile that hurt. From Le Repentier straight to Brickdam Road. Name on the list like it's still in the code. Multiple IDs tucked in the hand. Voter guys voting all across the land. Voter guys voting Jumbe. PPP for life from the afterlife. You see, voter guys voting Jumbe. Marking X from the grave so mysteriously. In the afterlife, we deal in big contract. Road and bridge with a ghostly kickback. If you talk too loud, he drift through your walls. Say, shish, my child. The PPP call from Bartica Shore to Burbis Bridge. He floating cross like a phantom fridge. Nobody know how we pass the gate, but he first in line when it's voting date. Voter guys, voting Jumbe. PPP for life from the afterlife. You see, voter guys, voting Jumbe. Marking X from the grave so mysteriously. Red shirt, change the sheet. Walk from the grave to the polling street. Dead today, alive on the roll. Election rigging is the only goal. When he done, he fade in the night. Whispering low, PPP win the fight. Back in the coffin, back on the ground. Till the next 5 years come around. So if you see a shadow in the polling line, and the man behind you cold as ice, don't turn round, don't make eye contact. It's just the voter guys, the voting Jumbe. Every 5 years, when the breeze gets strange and the moon high.
Yeah, so you heard it there. You got to repeat. Somebody tell me wheel and come here. You got to repeat, man. You got to repeat. Now, there is another video that I want to play for you. Here we go.
And this country got some really stupid people, really.
Yeah, and I got some stupid people, boy.
Guyana got some stupid people, boy. That's the anthem when they planning to deploy. A fresh quota right before elections. Smile for the combat, skip the inspections. The road broke up 1 week later, but we still get broke by the same dictator. We stupid, now we just tired. Watching them sell the future, we inspired.
Them say we backward, don't know we work, but we watching them budgets swell up like bird.
Millions vanish like it take a flight, and all we get is black hat and pothole fright. Work poor, cost high, dreams in a vice, but the minister just buy a third paradise. School little children can get lunch for eat, but the house got marble and gold tile suite. Vote buying in play, they got the script. Paint a little cross and do a quick road fix. Development coming, they sing that song, but 5 years done and the pipe still wrong. We ain't stupid, we done woke up. Now we checking receipts and calling bluff. This the year we flip the page, turn that stupid into righteous rage. They think we stupid, cause we humble when the people rise and beat that drum. We got eyes wide open, ears to the ground. Truth like fire, it can't stay down, belly empty. But the mindful fed this revolution, cooking in homemade bread. Wobble the road and take the praise. Them same one broke it in 7 days. Who said we stupid, blind and slow, but we they counting every dollar them blow. Who build the road and take the praise? Them same one broke it in 7 days. Who said we stupid, blind and slow, but we they counting every dollar them blow. Who get rich off duty-free perks while we punishing and hustling work like clerks? Who said the system fair and clean? Them bribe the judge behind the screen. So tell me now, we stupid still? Nah man, we sharp and ready for the kill. When we voting, with this time round, brains, backbone and boots on the ground. I got some stupid people, boy, but you're mistaking silence for joy. We quiet, but we fed up to the max. This time we voting with receipts and facts. We done with crumbs, done with tricks. We know who mash up the country bricks by bricks. Y'all laugh now, but listen clear. The stupid people taking back the chair.
Management. I said, we're going now with the cameras. There's a female washroom here. There's a bar here. The management explained to me that when you come and if you're going to use the pool, closed circuit television cameras were active at the Doubleday Hotel during the time 11-year-old Adriana Young went missing, according to Dr. Dexter Todd, the attorney representing the child's family. And as you can see, you see the pool here clear.
Yeah. But always remember that. And you must remember this as well. You must remember this one. Hold on.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, he is a friend of ours.
He is a friend of ours. I gotta make the intertune, I gotta tell you, he's a friend of ours. He's not a friend of mine, even though I entertain in my living room. That is just for pastime. I was sung the ballet. I was sung the folks. We had a good morning. Some people tell me I must take us other thing for the school. The cold is here. The cold ain't going away, but that ain't gonna stop me from coming here and bringing the information to you. Wherever I am, I'm gonna come and skin these people up. Skin them. Tomorrow is Thursday, and then you're gonna hear that big tune by the Mighty Duke. Was a big bacchanal just the other day. We didn't need Anchi Makumi. Big comments the other day. We didn't need Anchi Makumi. I don't want to hear so a passing straight. A fella pulled me and tell me wait. Same time, Indian husband come off the bus. Is then the Makome start to cuss. You're going to hear cuss. You're going to hear cuss. All you need is, the better you leave and go. Don't let me talk everything I know. Because you and Darius couldn't agree, you tie the child in the girl belly. You must have said, woman bacchanal by the Mighty Duke, man. Don't wait till tomorrow, 2 o'clock, to listen to Woman Bacchanal. Go on YouTube and listen to Woman Bacchanal. Big tune. Woman Bacchanal by the Mighty Duke. Right? You didn't tie the child in the girl belly. What you do was shame the Makume say. You didn't shame that 6 Saturday. When the husband come home earlier instead, you have to hide the man underneath the bed. Hey, hello. Yeah, I'll get me in a mood today. I'll get you. Folks, you've had a good morning. And as we come to the end of today's program, again, I have to tell you, be safe. Be safe. That place is a dangerous place and getting more dangerous by the day. Dangers on the road. Dangers all over the place. You go to the casino, you win a little something. Police outside allegedly for rob you. Police outside for rob you. Imagine that, the police robbing you. This thing, and again, I have to emphasize, they are good police. I know a lot of police, good police, honest police, hardworking, dedicated police, right? But what? The environment, toxic. Some of them shame to tell people they are a police. Shame. Every day is some scandal. Cocaine disappear from the what's supposed to be the most secure place. Police charge for thieving cocaine out of Ranville police station. Police gone missing from Alberton, gone missing from all over the place, and everything. OPR will investigate. Oh my God. Are you going to kill OPR? Elson Bay, today's your birthday, bye. Enjoy your birthday. You end up on leave. But just give me information now. Made up on leave. I got to ask this question before I leave. People like Barlett and them. Barlett's a Linden man. What is the position with Kevin Larimer, the PPP activist who was sentenced to 9 months in prison? What is the position with him? You know, after 2 weeks, he was arrested, and then police were taking him to Lusignan prison as ordered by the committal warrant, and then they gave instruction to abort the mission. He was taken back to Mackenzie. When he got there, they say he feigned illness, taken to the hospital there, transferred to Georgetown, where he was admitted for some time. He was discharged. He's not, they say at the time when he was discharged shortly after, he was not in police custody. So he'd been home. People take out video with the death Spice Town somewhere that we live there, and they say he's still active on social media. What is the position with him now, today, as we speak? I would like to know. Perhaps the commander, Assistant Commissioner Simon, perhaps the police corporate propaganda unit can tell us what is the position with Kevin Larimer, the PPP activist who was sentenced to 9 months in prison for fraud. What is the position with Cordell Jones, who was abusive to the police in Providence Police Station? What is the position with those matters? We would like to know. We members of the public would like to know what is the position. Folks, again, I say long morning. Stay safe. God spare life. We'll come Friday. Remember, Fridays is in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.